You know, Amazon ships approximately 1.6 million packages a day. And to get all those from point A to point B, they rely on thousands of truck drivers to haul their shipments. But senior investigative reporter Rebecca Lindstrom says that some believe Amazon's way of hiring those drivers is making roads less safe. Rebecca joins us now to explain. And Rebecca, what is Amazon doing differently?
To power its delivery network that you were talking about, Amazon developed its own internal platform. They call it Relay. And that allows it to bypass traditional brokers and long-term contracts and work directly, load by load, with small trucking companies that are sometimes just one person with a truck. I think of it kind of like Uber for Amazon. Amazon says it has onboarded more than 100,000 interstate motor carriers at some point in its Relay app. Now, I want to be clear, Chesley, we're not talking about that person that's dropping your package off at your front door. We are talking about what is called the middle mile. That is the distance between warehouses and distribution centers. When you're hiring a large firm, that company usually has the responsibility to know who is driving and to help troubleshoot delivery issues. But Amazon's Relay app gives it direct access to the driver. It has GPS trackers on their trailer. They give drivers a map to follow, weather reports, dispatchers can see when they stop. So drivers are rated after every load on internal metrics, and better scores mean better jobs. And it is that level of involvement that some say makes Amazon responsible for safety.
Isn't the federal government responsible for inspecting trucks and qualifying drivers? Where does Amazon fit into that?
Yeah, you're right. The U.S. DOT does have two data metrics a company can use to decide who to hire, and it is their responsibility to gather those metrics. The first is a U.S. DOT rating use compliance. It's looking at reviews to determine if a company's safety management is satisfactory, conditional, or unsatisfactory. It stems from an on-site examination of the carrier's operations, their accident history, and vehicle maintenance. And then the second thing, there is what is called Behavior Analysis and Safety Improvement Categories, or BASIC. It looks at roadside inspections, crash reports, and investigations that have been conducted within the past 24 months. But with hundreds of thousands of carriers on the road and thousands more launching every year, the DOT admits it is overwhelmed and it can't keep up. Congress, for example, passed a law in 2012 requiring a written proficiency exam for new trucking companies. More than a decade later, that test still does not exist. So the big question is, what does a company do with that data, or the lack thereof? And we've already talked about the control Amazon has on its drivers through the Relay app. We analyzed crashes here in Georgia involving interstate licensed drivers and found 64% of the trucking companies still licensed to operate don't have a rating or a safety inspection score. Associate Professor Alex Scott of the University of Tennessee did his own study as well. He reviewed safety records from thousands of carriers who hold at least one shipment for Amazon, Costco, Target, or Walmart. And he found in 1 month alone, Amazon used 194 trucking companies that had no safety score. And that was more than double the number for all of those other retailers combined.
Wow. So why are we talking about this now?
We are talking about it now because tomorrow Joseph Antoinier is expected in court. He is accused of causing a deadly crash on I-75 near the Georgia-Tennessee border on Mother's Day of this year. This will be his first appearance, the court hearing where the charges are actually read, and he gets a chance to enter a plea. Again, this is relevant because he was carrying cargo for Amazon at the time of that crash. Witnesses told police that he was driving erratically and frequently changing lanes before the accident that killed two fathers and a little boy. 7 other people were rushed to the hospital. So that crash has certainly raised questions locally about why he was on the road.
Is Amazon responding to this at all?
They are. We've shared all of our findings with them, as well as that of that professor. Amazon did decline to sit down and talk with us or tell us anything about the driver in that specific crash. But in a written statement, a spokesperson did call that accident near the state line a horrible tragedy. The company did say illegal subcontracting is a big problem and that it has barred nearly 2,000 carriers because of it. They say that's one of the factors that was contributing to some of those drivers that didn't have a safety record. And they say to stop drivers who shouldn't be driving for Amazon, the company has deployed automatic US DOT readers at more than 500 sites across the U.S. and enhanced its carrier screening and driver ID mechanisms. It also pushed back on that data analysis by Scott. It said only 6% of carriers in 2022 actually had a safety rating, and given its volume and its use of those small carriers, they say it's unfair to cite that as a safety concern. Tonight at 11, though, Chesley, we're going to be talking about some of the other safety concerns that we found and adding more context to this discussion. So I hope folks will join us then.
Oh, we're going to be joining you. You hate to even, when you see a truck on the road now, you're kind of scared to even go by it, right?
Yeah, well, you know, give them a wide berth. They need it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Rebecca. Really appreciate it. Again, you can see Rebecca's full investigation tonight on 11 Alive News and on 11 Alive Plus. Definitely tune in for that. And if you have a tip that you want for Rebecca to check out, call her at 404-873-9111. Again, that's 404-873-9111, or email her at investigates@11alive.com.